But before starting this press conference, let me make it clear. This is not a political press conference and it is not headed by any political leader. We have fought for this all of our own. This is our committee member, this is the vice president, our president is sick. So this is vice president Mrs. Nifa Fernandez. This is our treasurer Caetano Fernandez. And he's Brian Gonsalves, he's the joint secretary and I'm the secretary of this association. Now, my name is Anna Gracious. Okay. Now, we have fought very bravely for this and at last we had to go to our MLA. Our MLA, because he is our representative. We didn't go for any political thing, but as a representative of our village, we had to go to him. We filed some documents with the CM, with the vice president, with the deputy CM and the TCP offices. He arranged for all those meetings with us, and it was stuck up in the revenue department, law department, where Victor Gonsalves helped us in pushing up the file, and it came back to the TCP back again, and then it was kept for tagging, and then at last on 7th of December we got this declared as an heritage site. Now it is so much to tell about this place that all our colleagues will, Father Ronnie is here, who will talk and tell you the greatness of this place, and at last I will conclude what are my expectations and what we are going to do about it. Thank you. Okay, Ronnie, come here. Now you tell about this place.
Well, first and foremost, we need to understand that this structure behind here is not any simple structure. It is both a church and a convent of the Carmelites, and is a unique contribution of Chimbel to the world. There are a lot of historical significance to it. It was begun by local Chimbel priests who took the initiatives of it. It goes back to the early 18th century. Around 1747, we have the foundations of this structure. The Archbishop gave approval of this in 1750. Now, if you look at this thing, it's Asia's first indigenous Carmelite congregation that ever started here. Now, this is the only cloistered tertiaries in the history of the church. That's what they say. Besides that, it's the very first religious order to allow native Goans from non-Brahminical backgrounds to become priests, which was not heard of ever that time. It was founded and lived by Goans only in the beginning. Completely by Goans, not somebody from outside came and started this place. It also housed the very first mental institution in Goa. Besides that, they say even the freedom fighter like Vedanta was influenced by this congregation, men who lived here. So inspiring was their life. The first church in Pune diocese was also started by these Carmelites who lived here. So there's a huge and wonderful tradition and history behind it. And that's one of the reasons we want to treasure it. It has got memories that have affected our faith, that have allowed the people to grow and live together. And that's why all of us have got together here to preserve this for the generations to come. And therefore, it's a humble effort here along with the local people to not die with heritage. You look at the building here, anytime it can collapse. We treasure it because it means a lot to us. So I thank the press and everybody who have come here and given this opportunity for us to present our perspective, because we hear the government has got its own plans of putting up a structure which is going to be detrimental to this structure here. So it's a humble request that we fight for a cause, a noble cause, and as I said in the beginning, it's nothing to do with religions, nothing to do with it. It's something historical, something of our contribution that we need to preserve. We treasure it, and we are grateful to people who have been pioneers of these institutions. Thank you very much.
The name?
I am Father Ronald D'Souza. I come from the Margaon Monastery, the Carmelite Monastery at Ake.
On behalf of the Mount Carmel
Conservation Committee. I'm the Vice President, Nika Fernandez. And my humble request is what? After being declared as the heritage site on the 12th of December 2020, we were very elated. Like after 1.5 year battle, we were able to get our work done. But just 1 month back, we have got a jolt when we saw the Providoria people coming and doing the demarcation on the ruins of the convent. It was really very shocking. It is not that we are against any construction or any development. It is very good if the government has got very good plans for an old age home, since this was an old age home. But this is the wrong place. Not within this area, not within this heritage site, not around this heritage site. We have to maintain the sanctity of this edifice behind us. I have memories. I'm almost 53, 54 today. Till the early 90s, I've attended Mass over here. These are memories. And I would like this to be preserved. And I request the government, if they have got these plans, a request to shift it anywhere else. This is my humble request to the Goa government. And I thank Mr. Tony Fernandez, our Honorable MLA. He has been there with us always. He has given us the support till the declaration of the site. And he has given us a promise that he's going to request the CM to revert back the land to the Carmelites. And I ask him to please pursue this matter and request the government to shift this old age home which they are planning anywhere else where they have a site. Thank you.
I would just want to highlight some things over here. As it was declared as a heritage site, now we were very much happy, and we thought that we won the race, but it was not. After that, we found some demarcations going on here. So we hurriedly came here and we saw that the demarcation, and so we just approached the TCP and all, and we asked them whether you all have given any permission, how is this thing happening over here, and that too on the ruins. So the TCP, he said that we have not given any permission and nothing can come up on this since it is declared as a heritage site. Now after this, we had a site inspection, MLA and Providoria director, she had come over here and we had a happy discussion when she was saying that there was a proposed plan over here and it is a home for the aged, and I was so shocked to see that the demarcation is done. If you could see to my left, the demarcation is done over there on the ruins, and it is in such a shocking thing that how can it be done on a ruin when it is already stated that on the gazette that the ruins and the Mount Carmel convent is a heritage site, it's a state protected area. We cannot do this. After that, we have gone to the TCP again. We told him that this is the thing, so he has said he has given his full support, and he has promised us that there will be nothing coming up over here, but we cannot say that because it was orally. So now we have put RTIs in both in Providorias because this land initially belongs to the Carmelites. They are the owners of this land. And so how it came on Form 14 and how they are the owners, it is really amazing, and it's a mystery. Now I want to say that they want to build a home for the aged over here. To my right, if you can see, is a building. If you could just zoom that building, it was a home for the aged. And it is very sad to say that they couldn't even maintain this 29-year-old building. They did not maintain this building too, but this convent. They couldn't maintain this chapel. This chapel was only brought to ruins by the contractor appointed by the Providoria. And that is how this chapel came into ruins. If they are not capable of looking after this type of ruins, this convent and the chapel and this existing building, I think that the government should rethink and revert back the property to the Carmelites. And I am very proud to say that the Carmelites can do much better than them. Thank you. like Mr. Prajal Asa to talk about it.
So the main purpose of this meeting is to tell the Providoria that they have space there, lot of space there. So they should go there. We require, as Nifa has rightly said, we require the home for the aged. They have lot of place over there. Why to come into this heritage tagged property? This is recently we have won a heritage tag after a long battle under the leadership of Anna Gracias and all the committee members. And now we received a volte fast. They are going back on the word. I do not know that there is a, I think there is a communication gap between the TCP and the Providoria, looks like. Because if the Providoria is not in the know-how that there is an official gazette notification heritage tag received by this historical structure, then it is very sad. So the Providoria should look into the matter and not step into this property, because this property belongs actually originally historically to the Carmelites. And we have spoken to the Carmelite fathers there in Margao, and they should claim their property because historically it belongs to them. The most I would highlight this historical significance of this particular church is that it is the first church of the Goan priest. Irrespective of the caste, the first time the Goan priest on their own initiative had built this church between that order of the Goan church, tertiary Carmelites, which was a local order. So this has to be highlighted. So the Providoria, I would appeal to the Providoria to stay away from these ruins. They have a lot of space there, that building belongs to them. They can construct there. They are not opposed to that. But this is a historical structure. We have won the battle for the heritage tag, and now we do not want to go back on that. This now is part of the heritage site and heritage property, this entire thing. So this is what we want the press to highlight, that the Providoria should go on the other side. We are not opposed to the Providoria, but not to disturb and the historicity of this church and the heritage tag that we have achieved for this church. Thank you.
Actually, that I would also include that the TCP has told us orally that 100 meters is the buffer zone. But if this is a buffer zone of 100 meters, I don't think that the Providoria should ever think of putting anything over here. And if this goes on, there is a message to the government, there will be an Andolan here. It's a clear message that we will fight for it. And we appeal to all the Goans. We appeal to the Goans and all the people of Goa that if the government just lays even a foundation stone on the ruins, I will be the first person to call up the people and start for the Andolan. And our sir, Sir Prajal is here, who is our backbone. Also, I can see Brian and Arthur also here, who will be more in collecting people, and there are lots of activists also over here. I know that they will help us, and all the social activities, they will help us. That is a guarantee given to us. And also, I would also say that please do not play with the sentiments of the people. Our people of Chimbel are peace living. We have not gone for any agitations. We have not started this with any agitation. We have just started with our paperwork and our sentiments. And because of the dates and the historic things of this monument, the TCP has declared it officially as a heritage site. So I please and humbly beg at the government to please do not destroy this piece of this land. It's not a government property also, but this property belongs to the Carmelites. And I would also request our provincial of the Carmelites to be with us for this until we get back, until the property is reverted back to the Carmelites. This is the word of the MLA. He has given us this word. There was a mass over here, and on the altar of this mass, the MLA has promised us that he will revert back this property to us, and I'm waiting for this day that the property will be reverted back. He has a conversation with the CM also, and he has agreed to it. That is what we are told. But we hope that our dreams come true and our fight really gives us something for the people of Chimbel. This is a valuable, you call a jewel to Chimbel, and it is a great name. And I hope even he is on record. He said that he will change Chimbel name into Carmel. That is what he has also mentioned. But I don't think this will happen, that Chimbel will come into the name of Carmel. Because if you Google, you will see that it comes under Indranagar. And so we are just called like Indranagar people. We are not called Chimbel people. Even if we go for an interview or for back, oh, you're from Indranagar, so sorry, please.
Can somebody explain like when and why was this church abandoned? When was it?
Early 90s. It was abandoned because they tried to shift, since that house was coming down, they shifted the inmates to the new building this side. First it was Altin and then gradually over here as the building came up. And they allowed the building to come down, no doubt, but they allowed the chapel also to come down too.
Because they broke the portion of the wall, which was this side, so the walls couldn't stand.
The first mental hospital was here.
This
No, no, the
first
question
mental
was,
hospital.
the question is not that. Question is why the church was abandoned.
Because there was no support for the church. The contractor broke the walls.
No, no, you are not getting it.
We
This
had
church
a-
was running,
The,
no?
the
Yeah.
priest
So
never
what was
lived
it?
here. The priest never lived here. We had a visiting priest who used to come from the Ribanda church only on certain days to say mass. There was not a regular priest over here. So that is how the church also happened to come
So
down.
it was more of a chapel.
Yeah,
than it was
Yes, it was more of a chapel. But there are graves buried here of priests.
Okay.
Two prominent feasts which happened here was the St. Anthony's feast on 13th of June and 16th of July was Mount Carmel,
That old
the patron.
photograph is there.
Here's a photograph of the church, and you can see the people here.
Are the Carmelites going to go to the court over this issue regarding the position of the land?
No, if the government is going to facilitate and give it to us, I think there is no need to go for any sort of
Yeah.
legal thing.
No, but if the government doesn't,
we'll
because
have-
it looks like the way they have done the
Yeah.
demarcation.
Yes, we'll have to consider it also if there is a need of it. Yeah. So as of now, it has not been anything confrontational. It is more of a dialogical. That's what we are looking at. What we can do it dialogically, why do it in a confrontative way? It's going to take years and years
No,
together.
but doesn't it look like a confrontation when they are doing the demarcation without consulting anybody?
We have not
They
yet
have not
done.
even concerned the MLA.
Yes, so they are saying that we do not know about it.
They are saying they are not aware.
They are not aware of
They
it.
are
So
not
No,
aware.
how come it be that they are not? They are saying that they are not aware. How come?
Apart from your team contacting the government, has the Bishop House also contacted the government?
No, it doesn't fall under the issue.
Does it fall?
as of now, no. It's we who are going to
Carmelites are
initiate the
the
whole thing. If at all we have to go take a legal course, the Carmelites who are going to. We might request the diocese to help us out.
Are there any documents in possession of you all regarding the position of this property?
Yes, we have. So
initially
the
we
translations are already on. Yeah. So we are certifying those documents, and if there is need be, then we might take a necessary course of action. Yeah. So we have documents getting back to the initial who donated us, how it went, how all those details.
No,
we
how
have.
it came in possession of this the provisoria?
Because that time the congregation was suppressed. Just like any other congregations, they were being suppressed. So they had to go out from this place. Yeah. It went to Misericordia, from there it went to Provideria.
Yeah, actually,
Let's
This
come
is
here.
architect. Introduce.
So actually first
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I am architect Lester Silvera. I've been helping out the committee in various matters related to the heritage listing and various matters related to the either documentation or anything related to the project. And regarding your question, like why, how did it fall into, how did it change, and like collectively to answer it. So the first when it was under the Tertiary Carmelites, the first instance all the religious orders were kicked out of government, the Free government. So that is when the tertiary Carmelites were forced to leave this property, and it then went into the hands of the Santa Casa de Misericordia. So which was an institution, to help destitute women and children, like orphans. And at that time the convent was again in use by them, but the invocation to Mount Carmel kept continuing. So masses were, being said, and the regular people of Chimbel kept coming here, and it kept continuing its function as a church invocated to Mount Carmel. And it was only later when the government set up the Proveedoria in the mid 1900s, 1940s, that the property then went into the hands of the Proveedoria. And soon after that, again, the masses kept on continuing, and it was only then later when they built a new old age home over here that the property fell into ruins due to negligence on their part. And though, as Nifa mentioned, that the masses kept continuing and people still had an association with this place, but soon, with the lack of negligence, the negligence they paid to this, they didn't carry out any repairs, and they carried out some work in which they hired a contractor, during which the side walls were altered, and these walls then, it was important that these walls should have been there because they were supporting the roof, and ultimately when these walls went away, the roof ultimately gave way, and this led to further ruination. So ultimately the church became inhabitable and they could not have mass here anymore. But even then, the people of Chimbel always, they used to have mass in the old age home or something. But that is when actually this site then began to be actually, fall further away and fade further away from memory. So yeah, to answer the question.
The simple sentence should be, this property doesn't belong to Proveedoria and it is not for government. Proveedoria is one department of the government. Please understand the separation. And this property doesn't belong to Proveedoria, nor it is acquired by the government. Government acquires and gives to the department. This is not acquired, this is not Proveedoria's land, this is not government land. They just came in here because they thought they are helping Proveedoria, so they came with their project. And it is not proper. Proveedoria should withdraw immediately from this site and they should think somewhere else to construct a building. Finish.
The site is declared. The site is declared as a heritage site. So why it is not protected?
No.
All the bushes and trees.
Recently, from
12 December it is declared.
12 December.
Yeah.
12 December it is declared.
Under the TCP, huh?
Yeah,
Not under the State Archaeology Department.
no, beside
under
that,
the TCP.
No, beside that, it is a legally, Law Department has cleared it and TCP has announced it.
No, what he is talking about is that what about the conservation? Now when this conservation will happen? Now it's already in ruins, it is falling in further ruins. So how much time it will take for this?
Our request, since the Carmelites are the owners here, our request to them is please you take up this reservation and preservation of this.
So when you say preservation, are you also thinking of restarting the service in all the functions here?
Let us first
Let us preserve this first,
repair
and
this.
then we will have we have our own plans actually for this land. And so that is why we have planned for certain things. Okay. There are some plans we have proposed for this place over here, and so our intentions are also to have a counseling, because people of Chimbel are in most need of counseling. So we'll have a center, but not in the ruins. It will be somewhere far away. So there are lots of plans for the people of Chimbel. There are many things required for. We don't have a proper health center. We don't have a market. We don't have schools. We don't have playgrounds. We don't have a sit out for senior citizens.
No, but this cannot be planned over here. Whatever
No,
you are
no,
talking
no.
about.
This is a separate, it's a big land.
Your basic question has been like, no, why the preservation of that has not yet started. We just got the whole thing in December. We are in contact with the help of Lester, Fernando and the associates. We are already in lookout for people who are professionally trained for this. We don't have many in Goa. Lester will...
No, will the cost be borne by you all or by the government?
See, if the government is not having funds, is not able to, we'll have to do it. So we as
So
Kamala...
you all are ready.
we are getting prepared for it. Yes, for the initial we are getting prepared. We might not be able to do the whole thing because it's a huge thing. We have to generate funds and the times are such that it's difficult for us to also go to the people. But yes, we are getting ourselves prepared to do something about it, yes.
But if it's archaeological importance to the state government has the responsibility of protecting it by themselves.
Very true.
The state government has not.
They've got 50 lakhs rupees for the whole Goa, but out of which all 50 lakhs won't be given. That's what the chief town planner told us twice.
No, it is not under.
ASI is a central government agency.
Yeah.
So we have to inform, we have to write to them.
No, this is not.
But
We are not.
But
This is
eventually,
not ASI, not state.
No, he's
What
not
they have done
about
to all
Please
these
don't get confused. It is not ASI, not state archaeology. It is
Town and country plan.
under the TCP, they have a heritage conservation committee. It has been given heritage tag under the TCP department.
That is the point. The difference is that it's not ASI. It's not ASI. That's why
It is ASI, it is the reaching out of 10, they are the one who controls everything.
ASI is separate.
No, just to like what Prasad sir had said, the same thing that this comes under the TCP and their list of aesthetic and historic importance. With regards to you're asking about preservation, so there's a lot that goes on. Of course, funds is one thing, and as Father said that the listing just came in December, so it's just a recent thing, and things are in motion. For example, now if we are to do, we just can't intervene into the structure. There has to be like a proper study of the fabric by like a designated conservation architect who has to study the thing and propose how to go about it. Like look at what's most urgent. Like for example, the most urgent is the preservation of this facade because it's it's in a very precarious condition. So only then you can look to conserve the remaining things into an archaeological park. Yeah, the vegetation clearance, and the main thing is something has to be done before the coming monsoons. So that is one thing, but you just cannot dive into it. You have to first create a proper report and study the matter. Another point I'd just like to add is we're talking about construction in this area, which the province is insensitively planning. And when you have such sites which are such historical and historical importance, it's very important to maintain the sanctity of the site and to not plan anything that is insensitive to the surroundings, so that this site has survived so many centuries and has remained intact fairly. So we should continue preserving the the ambience of the site and the historicity of the site. And another thing which was asked by all is what can be done here. So there has been a recent trend where heritage forms an important a backdrop or it's important culturally. So there can be a lot of cultural events over here which can be used to celebrate Shimbel's unique contribution to Goa and to the world. So there's many things that can be done with relation to cultural festivals and that sort of thing.
It should be conserved and not rebuilt or reconstruction or renovation. Conservation.
TCP is the only department who identifies conservation of the TCP is only.
An appeal once again to the government to not have anything on the ruins, because when we said the facade and the convent. It meant the convent is this part where the ruins are and the facade is here. Please do not have anything. Be a little more sensible and sensitive about this sensitivity of the people, not only Chimbal, but Goa, because it's got important significance not only to the Chimbalites but to entire Goa, because it was the first in Goa with all what that was explained. Thank you to the press and to all of you wonderful people who have come here. On behalf of the Mount Carmel Conservation Association, I'd like to thank everybody. Prajal, not taking any names. And once again, thank you to my MLA who has put in words and has been also following up. Thank you to him. Thank you everybody. And thank you to all the activists who have come here. Many of you all
Gave your precious time.
The paper, you can see the paper.
That no clearance should be given to the TCP.